Okay. I think we're live. Yep, looks like we're live. All right. Okay, Svarts, I'm interrogator Rosario Rivas, attaché to Milady Inquisitor Markham of the Order Hereticus, and welcome to Looking Cute and Painting Minis. I'm coming at you live from the grim dark future, currently broadcasting from the high world of Virago. The theme music for the stream is Chords, Lament, and Hope by the venerable liturgist Adam Bell. We also have music from 40K Mechanicus, which is composed by Guillaume David, the copyright of Boer Studios, and music for 40K Dark Tide, which is composed by Desperate Kid and the copyright of Fat Shark Games. All of the music is read to us by filmmusic.io and pixabay.com. Alright, so today we're continuing to paint Kor'Sarro Khan, the one and only. So far, we've gotten quite a lot of it done, primarily in the white department, though we have done a little bit of the red, as you can see. Next up, we're going to start working on the cape. Yes, the cape. So lastly, we were talking about possibly doing some reddish brown. But without reddish brown, before we can start with reddish brown, we can actually start with regular brown. There we go, Vaz saying hello. How's it going, Viza? And we got 70 Rules saying hiya. How you doing? How's it going today? Have a good week? What you been up to? Alright, so let's get started with that reddish brown. Like I said, we're gonna start with actual brown. So we're gonna go with Ryan Oxide. Oh, let me get that in camera. Yeah, there we go. Ryan Oxide. And then Visa says, going well. Just set up some sonification or sonication. So noisy but good. What's sonication? Never heard that word before. Obviously it had to do with sound because it's sonic. Alright, we got that Rhinox high. Let's get him. Well, we'll keep him on the base. But let's get a big brush here. Yeah, maybe size. No, let's go with size 3 if we can find it. There's my size 3. There it is. Whoa. Okay, so Visa says the process that an ultrasonic cleaner uses to do the cleaning. Ooh. What are you cleaning with your ultrasonic cleaner? It's been a while since I've used this size 3 grabby, so it's a little stiff. I gotta dip it in the water for a little while so I can get that old paint off. And we got a headphone after saying hello. What we up to today? But before I answer that, Visa said some grimy liquid gunk off of parts. Which parts? Like a car or something? And headphone actor, so glad you asked. We are continuing to paint Kor'Sarro Khan. We have gotten quite a bit of the white done, and we've got some of the red, but we really need to start working on that cape, because I'm pretty sure that cape will become a pain in the butt if I start painting anymore. But it says the colors are coming out quite well, and my lord, those skulls look awesome. Oh, glad you think so. Yeah, I like how they came out, and even though they were kind of an accident. There we go. Now it's loosening up a bit. Can never go wrong with the sexy space marine with the saxophone. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna be using size 3 grabby. And again, we're using Rhinox hide as the paint that will be painting that first base off of the cape. And Visa says, ooh, neat. Sorry, not Visa. Headphone actor says, ooh, neat. White scar, love. You love to see it. Oh yeah, glad you're liking it. No, that's a little too watery. Way too watery. Should have dried this brush a little bit before I started. But yeah, how's everybody's weeks been? What you guys been up to? I've actually been very busy this week, prepping for the next Rosario rant. Got quite a bit of editing done, though I still need more to finish. We got Bubblegum Fairy saying, I finally got some doctors to listen to my concerns about my kid, and now we have a plan to get it fixed. Oh, that's great. Happy to hear it. Hope your kid's doing well. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. So how you been? How's everything going? Bubblegum Fairy says he's good. He has a mild hearing loss, and we can fix it with surgery. I'm doing pretty good. Oh, okay. Definitely, everybody, have send your thoughts and prayers over to Bubblegum Fairy and her child. Make sure that the surgery can fix him up. But I'm glad you're doing well. How are the projects with for D&D coming along? All that sculpting you were doing. Also, headphone. How goes the reading of the Krieg Codex? Is it good? It reminds me that I have the Emperor's Children Codex, but I have yet to read it. Basically, I never intended to play them as Emperor's Children. So I guess, yeah, that's why I haven't felt the need to read it. Oh, but yeah, shit, there might be some interesting bits of lore on there. And if it says, oh, it has been good. Love the Codex. Yeah, I bet. Now it looks like I'm ripping through the paper there. Just gonna shake the bottle a bit, and I'm gonna try to make a new spot on the wet brush. Sorry, the wet palette, because it looks like I've kind of peeled a hole in the paper there. So I'm gonna try to get another batch going. Headphone Actor says, I already knew the rules, but it's nice to, I'm guessing you mean read the extra lore and such. I bet. There we go. That looks like the right consistency. Like I looked through, because I bought the first codex I bought was the Inquisitorial Agents codex, and that was a lot of fun to read. I know people a lot of people give flack to the Inquisitorial Codex, but I loved it. It was nice being able to see a way to create have an army that is kind of a combination of all the Imperium has to offer. Alright, Headphone Actor says, I do hope for the 11th they do free rules, and the codex is just full of lore, art, and painting schemes. That would be interesting, but I doubt they'll ever do that. There's too much money in it. And Headphone Actor says, an Imperial agent gets flagged because, well, it's more of a contractual obligation for GW, and it's not good at all, nor balanced rule-wise. What do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean. How is it a contractual obligation? And what's wrong with the balance? Is it too weak or too strong, or...? I don't know much about, playing Warhammer 40k in general. Like, it's the first codex ever bought. Here's the tricky part. Gotta get that inside of the cape without hitting any of the white that I don't want to hit anyway. So right now I'm not worried if I hit the sword or hit any of the seals on his cape. I'm more worried about the armor itself. Okay, let me get it off the base holder. I think the base holder has done as much as it can for today. Ah, damn it. Already hit a little bit in the leg there. And we got Region saying upside down. No, not really. Your screen is not wrong. And Headphones says so Imperial agents is where they throw most of the Imperial units that don't fit in an Imperial faction or special anniversary models to give them 40k rules, and yeah, they are not powerful, haha. But what about the fact that they have Deathwatch? They have Deathwatch, they have Sisters of Battle. Wouldn't that help them with their deficiencies, I guess? I keep getting brown on the armor. That's the downside of painting white first. Hopefully I'll be able to clean that up. Hey, Regian says, honestly, it's a flavor faction. Is the flavor cheesecake? I love cheesecake.
Ratus sum Deus meus, pro pulchritude et structura rosaris. Sed internum solum te volo, propria voce mea. Gratias tibi ago Domine Deus meus, pro omnibus quae mihi et nobis omnibus breves. Auxilia in vista, cotis mea ex libera veris.
Some of you watching this may be thinking to yourself, maybe that's why you should paint in pieces as opposed to painting together. But personally, I like a little bit of the challenge that is painting a full model. I feel like unless I do, I feel like I can't do it at all, that I'll paint it in like different pieces. And I feel like this is workable. Yes, there might be some steps along the way where I have to clean up or whatever, but I still like a bit of the challenge. Like it says, puts it's a lot harder to get the lighting/perspective in pieces. Yeah, I would figure that it's harder to do that in pieces. It's like you're painting as, like you're actually doing a painting, really. So you can clearly see the, where the light would hit versus, painting it in pieces. Her boyfriend, he don't know anything about her needs. Stone, Nintendo, she's just the flavor of the week. What? Sorry, headphone says my internet died for a sec. What did I miss? Maybe laughs a little bit. What you missed? Well, the last thing you said was you were telling me about, the Imperial agents, and then Ragion gave in some 2 cents about the problem, about the models. Yeah, he said that, here, I'll reread it for you. Yeah, but the problem is, models are designed with their core rules in mind, and Imperial agents have their own faction rules that don't mesh well. Honestly, it's a flavor faction. And Ragiel says, I mean, I didn't want to say it, but now that you said it. Okay, I guess I missed a few there. Yes, that too. Ragiel says, you missed it. He gave away a whole new 3D printer. Yep. And a trip to the Bahamas. And Hefuna just says, oh, gotcha. Oh no, I missed the printer. Then Hefun says, I cry, I want one so bad, haha. Yeah, 'cause you got one already, don't you? I need one. Trust me, that is in the budget. Maybe a place I can store one, and then a printer. And Visor says, depending on what you want to do with them, there are options that aren't too expensive. Oh wait, hold on. Ragion said something before that. So I didn't want one until I realized it's already hard enough to get me to paint. I don't think I'd ever use it. Like I said, I really want one. There's so many STLs that I already own that I feel like I'm throwing money away at this point. Plus, my intent is for me to give you guys some models to use in your own games, starring yours truly. And Headphone Actor says, I wish I did. They ain't expensive, but I do have a place to safely have it. Yeah, I don't have a place to safely have it just yet. Fingers crossed at some point soon. Alright, I think that brown is looking a lot better. There's some parts where it still looks a little, well, not desaturated, but, a little lighter, I guess. Raya says just throw a brown wash on it since you already highlighted anyway. That is brown, yeah. Yes, it is brown. But the problem is I don't have a brown wash. Well, I do have a brown wash, but it's a little too light. And Bison says if push comes to shove, if you super water down some brown acrylic, it turns into a poor man's wash. I've used that method before and it mostly works. You have to be careful with how wet it is to get it to that point though. And then Reyes says brown contrast. Yeah, sorry, I do have brown washes, but I don't have brown contrast. That's what I meant. But we've already gotten this far with the actual brown paint, so it's, you know, thanks for the suggestion. I'll take it into account for the next one. And we have Besto Taco. Besto Taco saying hi. How you doing, Besto Taco? It's been a while. What you been up to? Welcome back, by the way. Yes, I'm currently painting Kor'Sarro Khan. We're right now working with the brown. Fortunately, we got some brown on the white, so we might have to fix that in a bit here. But a long time no see. What you been up to? Also, for those of you who've been watching my gaming stream, which I did too this week, how are you guys liking it? Buzzer says, you did those while I was at work, so I couldn't tune in. I hope it was good, though. Oh, hold on, I missed one of Besto Taco. Is everything good? A lot of work, haha. But I try to paint more and practice. Okay, what are you trying to work on? And then Regia says, you always stream when I work and makes me sad. I want to see Skaven kill Slan too. So would, I guess streaming at around this time be good for everybody? Or, I know some people say that they wish I would run a little earlier. So I figured those times were pretty good. And then Ragyan was responding to Besto Taco saying, go, 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 you can do it. And Ragyan says, I was there for the first one and it was nice. Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, recently I've had some impromptu free time. So I figured I better make the most of it and do some gaming streams, or at least try out some gaming streams. My worry has always been that my computer can't quite handle it. But I found out that if I at least use games that aren't that graphically intensive, then it's actually possible. And Biza says, oh wait, hold on. Besatago was thanking Region. And then Biza says, woo, good to hear. Yes, I'll be trying to do more. Right now we're playing Tales of Iron. An absolutely adorable game that's actually grimdark too. You play a little mouse or rat. I think he might be a rat. Fighting off the evil frogman. Okay, you're playing a Slan. A Skaven fighting against Slan. Trying to get into that little sort of crevice there between the cape and the leg. Okay, I think we are done with that. Let's go ahead and paint that holster the same color brown. And I think we might also paint the hawk the same color. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and paint the and also the glove he's got, sort of the same brown. Oh wait, I just realized I've made a huge mistake. I have to amend this mistake immediately. Pause that music and actually some appropriate music. We're gonna be playing Mongolian throat singing from Musical Discoveries. Okay, you guys went all out there. And, Regio says, who needs exterminatus? Fortunately, nobody. And Vice says, drum roll. And then Rotsumi Rose says, oh no, what's the mistake? The mistake was I was playing the wrong kind of music. We need some appropriate music for our White Scar friend here. The 7A Rose says he was a bopper. What was a bopper? The music I was playing already? Tony Rose says, haha, yeah. Okay, well, sorry, but I feel like this is a little bit more appropriate for the stream today. And Vice said, just mentioning it has Black Thunder from The Who in my head. Oh, The Who are great. I love them. Whenever I share art of the White Scars on my Instagram, I always have it soundtrack with some song from The Who. For those of you who don't know, The Who is actually a metal Mongolian throat singing band. Very fun stuff. Let me know if the music is coming in okay. Ragyan says, okay, but like, why do you know that? Because I am cultured. Ugh. This keeps happening. Keep getting chunks of paper. Regan says, you know, back in my day, we didn't have these fancy pants music players. We would make music from the screams of our enemies as we butchered them. As CD players. You young people don't know how good you have it. We band sticks together and we liked it. Right here, I'm not too worried about hitting the white for the trim, the pauldron, because I plan to paint that a different color. And Regan says, actually, for Christmas, my nephew got a whole PC when I was a kid. We had like 2 skateboards and 1 game console to share with 1 game. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about kids having PCs. Hopefully their parents are watching them. The wild west out there. You know, thinking about it, this is actually a very dumb element, design element for this miniature. This leather glove for, because I know falconeering, you have leather gloves you put on, but that's so that the claws won't dig into your skin. I don't figure that you need that when you have, ceramite armor? Visa says, may to not hurt the falcon's claws. In this case, something softer for it to grab. You may have a point. And Regan says, you know, I thought the same thing about the Kasturi's armor. It does not make sense to me. Yeah, it didn't make sense to me either, but maybe Viza's got a point. I don't know why I said it that way. Viza. Then Vice says, though honestly, I suspect it was more there for the general aesthetic, and I just put in more thought than them. Yeah, possibly. And then Raya says, who needs space marines when you have drip marines? Exactly. Sometimes you just gotta go with Wula Cool. Yeah, the Warhammer is definitely that. You can't think about it for too long because then it stops making sense. Does anybody play as the our bites yet, or is that not out yet? You know, in Dark Tide. And then Buzz says, which faction slash game? Yeah, Dark Tide. And I think Headphone just answered the question. Out tomorrow. Ah, I gotcha, okay. I wasn't sure if there was like some kind of beta or something that people got to try it out. Vagyal says, imagine having the PC to play Dark Tide. Cries eternally. I will keep quiet then. And then the God Emperor of Man says, Greetings, my Omniscience. How goes it? And Headphone Actor says, what's for YouTubers to make previews? Ah, okay. Those special people who get pre-screenings and whatnot. Hopefully one day I'll fall on that category. And the regular says, no, keep talking so I can live vicariously through you. Okay. Well, I do have Dark Tide, and I do like playing it. However, I don't play it as much as I would like. My favorite classes right now are Psyker and the Zealot. And the God Emperor of Man says, well, the bleep has hit the fan. What is it, the fan? What happened? And then the visor says, I admit I've recently been hooked on Rune Factory Guardians of Zuma. Or Azuma. I haven't heard of that game. What is it? And then Headphone Actor says, I have a friend that plays Dark Tide through a G-Force now flawlessly. Like Endgame Havoc 40s, so give it a try. And Ragion says, you've never heard of Rune Factory. I don't know how to feel. Feel privileged to enlighten me with the knowledge of that game. And then, what? Yeah, okay, the God Emperor Man says Wi-Fi crash. Fracking Zeech did it. I know of it, and now I have to go buy a new Wi-Fi system. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully I can get one soon. Ask Kitten to do it. It's a little reference for you Alpha Booster lovers. And Visor says a very Japanese hybrid genre of adventure RPG, village builder, farming, and dating sim like elements. Okay, something akin to, what do they call that one game? Harvest Moon. And then Headphone says, context, GeForce Now is NVIDIA's streaming service. Haha. Okay, I never heard of that. Maybe I should look into that. And Baita said it's a bit of a franchise split, as they usually are way more farming focused than this one. And Ranga says, yeah, it kind of seems like it wants to be like a Trials game. From what I've seen, at least. And Ganiper Man says probably will. And then Ragiel says, yes, like Harvest Moon. Okay, cool. Sorry, Harvest Moon, I can't even get that out of my mouth. Weiss says, yes, actually, Root Factory is a spin-off franchise of Harvest Moon, with combat/dungeon added. Oh, nice. And then Weiss says, oh, gee, Harvest Moon, not the current one. Situations happen, and what was Harvest Moon goes by Story of Seasons now. Yeah, that whole, copyright stuff can get pretty tricky. But it says basically the publisher stole the IP from the studio in oversimplified terms. Yeah, that sucks. Reagan says, I would say that why we should exterminate us then, but then I realized that I don't think it matters. The situation I would want to exterminate us anything at this point is it's too hot. Not quite sure what you're putting down, but I would figure if you exterminate us them, then you'd be exterminating yourself too because you're on the same planet. And then Raya says, but at least I won't feel hot anymore. I mean, yeah, but you won't be feeling much of anything. Okay, I think that's all the brown. I'm gonna go double check the base model, see if there's anything else I'm missing here. Nope, yep, that's all the brown. Okay, so we're done with that. We're gonna continue painting. We're gonna do any cleanup right now. I feel like we can leave the cleanup for later. Let's get all those base colors on there. So I say it's about time we start adding some metallics. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with Balthazar Gold. And Buzz says, I love metallics. I actually have some metallic cardstock coming in for a project I'm excited for. Ooh, nice. What's the project? And what metallics are you using? So we're gonna work with a very small brush. Let's try this quintuple zero Marie. And I figured we use more copper colors. That's why I'm starting with the Balthazar Gold. Because the trim usually on the white cards is red. And bronze and copper are, or more copper, are sort of reddish metallics. So I figured I'd keep in the spirit of that. But it says one people I subscribe to is putting out a tabletop game, so I'm going to see how some of the prototype assets look on metallic cardstock. Okay, who you subscribe to, and what's the game? And Visa says this one is Scoutifer, or Scoutcifer. It's a skirmish level war game between diesel punk mechs. Ooh, sounds fun. something akin to what is it? War Machine. Visa says a bit more modern in look than them. Gameplay looks a bit more on the BattleTech side. He's got files up on Mini Factory, or My Mini Factory, if you want to see the look of that. Oh yeah, I'll definitely want to check that out. And then Ragyal says, wait, wouldn't that be more like BattleTech? Okay, yeah, you guys are both in agreement then. I figured Dieselpunk was closer to War Machine than I guess BattleTech. But I guess I am wrong. Visa says War Machine is I think a more steampunk. I can't even talk today. Which feels like splitting hairs, but technically is a difference. Gotcha. Okay. Is it my bad? How are we feeling about that bronze? Alright, Vice says, nah, there are so many punk genres, it can take a bit to keep up. And the brown looks gorgeous. I'm glad you're liking it. And Ragyal says, War Machine is more like they need to keep their starter set in stock so I can buy it, gosh darn it. Yeah, don't they have, that new website? Visa, you're the one who put me onto them. What's their new website again? The people that bought, you know, War Machine. But it says it's on the Steamforge game site. Yeah, there we go. I knew it was like SFG, but I couldn't remember what SFG stood for. And Reggion says, yeah, but I can get it for $80 elsewhere. It's also called Steamforge. But as I said, could also see if LGS can order it. What's LGS? Mine says local game store, and so does Ragion. Thank you, guys. Region says it's hard because they are not as popular here, so convincing them to get it is hard. Maybe I can try Top Deck. And then Vaz says you can also hear it as FLGS, or Friendly Local Humor Store. And Vaz says, I was so confused for the longest time with that one. Regio says I can't relate. All the staff in the store here have a communication disorder. I'm almost certain at this point. And then Region then says, besides the owner, he's a really nice guy and we talk shop a lot. Ooh, nice. It's always nice when you can get along with your local game store. I know for sure that the local games, or at least the Warhammer local game store that I got, is really nice. I like the people that work there. Headphone actor says, wish I had local game stores like that here. There is one, but there are no war games as such there. More more family-oriented board games and scale models. Well, at least it'll be good for kit bashing, I would figure. But that's a shame. Yeah, Vice says, do they have an open space / unused tables? Could always ask if they are open to hosting player-organized events and tempt them with collateral dollars. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. Do you have people you play with their headphone? Maybe you can get together with them and get that little plan Vice has just made in action. Now here's the idea. I was looking at Kor'Sarro Khan's official model, and he's got this golden eagle wings with the lightning on there in a silver color. So I plan to do that, but again with the bronze. So that way the silver will still seem kind of whitish and still have that metallic look. So I'm hoping I can pull that off well. Alright, Headphone says, sadly I don't have anyone IRL I can play 40k with on play 40k with only on TTS. I'm trying to get my only 2 out of 4 IRL friends here to get into it. We shall see how it goes. Well, hey, good luck. Come on. There's always like some kind of stray hair or something here. Visa says, good luck, I feel the pain. I have a giant collection of Kingdom Death models worth. I don't want to think about that. I don't have anyone to play with anymore. They make some really nice models. Would love to get my hands on some, really. And then Region says, where are you at, actor? For people in Philly, I always recommend Red Caps, but I assume you aren't there. Practically holding my breath. It says, yeah, pretty much everything with game content KD has put out I have, and a few of the models without. And yeah, super fine details. I remember the stray to avoid any twitches. KD is Kingdom Death. Ragan was asking what that was. Yep, Kingdom Death. But Kingdom Death models are kind of pricey, right? Okay, Ragian was asking, okay, let me phrase that. What is Kingdom Death? I'm not quite sure, but it has some really nice models. Faiza, you are the expert. And Vice says board game that is part settlement management sim, part RPG, part Monster Hunter. Then he says, and yes, the models are quite pricey. I feel like their aesthetic is very anime inspired. Anime slash comic book inspired. Very cool stuff, honestly. Well, it says it is. It's heavily inspired. Hold on. You first said, oh, and it's also a campaign. And the voice says it is. It's heavily inspired by Berserk and Monster Hunter. Has direct shoutouts to both. Yeah, so there you go. Very pretty models. Red Yarn that says wait. Red Yarn that says I've seen this. Yeah, you must have. I mean, there's a lot of miniature pages who actually paint a lot of Kingdom Death. Primarily due to the amount of detail they have on their models, I would figure. And then Rayon says, in another Discord I'm in, since I buy Limbo Division. Oh yeah, I know Limbo Division. Padway's, what is it, Panranway? The model's inspired by his art. Also, if you watch Matt Mercer / Critical Role, he's a huge fan and loves to pull out his Kingdom Death models whenever he can. Then he says, bah, commercial, lol. Okay, we have that. What else can we... Oh yeah, up here, this part of the crest. Liza says, and back. Welcome back, Liza. Hate his little flecks that keep popping up. Ben and Nassau. What's done is done. We'll go on and on. It won't be long. We will fall. Sorry, I got a little bit of Unleash the Archers in my head. Ragyon says he's checked out the Kingdom site and everything is sold out. Yeah, that's the other thing. They're not really well stocked, I would say. That's why one of the reasons I haven't bought anything from them. But as it says, they do a mix of game content and new releases, with new releases often being in short runs that come back later. And yeah, it's better now, but back in the day, they could sell out before you get an email telling you a new thing exists. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty bad way to get some attention. Alright, so we're done with that bit of bronze. Let's see, where else can I put bronze? I feel like I can put May bronze up here on the hilt of the sword. Let me just double check. No, yeah, we'll go with something else for the sword. We'll go with gold. Need some other metallics. Right now, just cleaning the brush before we go ahead and start putting some other kind of metallics onto the canvas. Hopefully we'll be able to get done with all the metallics before we're done. So let's get that gold in there first. Yeah, where's that gold? Oh no, don't tell me I don't have the gold nearby. Okay, here we go. Retributor armor. And we're sticking with the quintuple zero Marie. Let's go ahead and get that gold in there. I'm gonna put it on this little like sigil here. When you're smiling, when you're smiling, when you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. And when you're laughing, and when you're laughing, fortunately, I don't know the whole song. Painty paint paints, I ain't just make up a song. How you doing, Painty paint paints? How you been? Everything good? Painty paint paint says, we doing and doing. Just humming about. I need to do the postings, yeah, now. It's just stopping by and seeing the progress. Okay, well, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, that's what he's looking like so far. Still a lot of only base colors. Paint says they have a bird, and that's awesome. Yeah, it's a really good model. But what you been working on? And Painty says was doing the barbarian pig from Steamforged Games. Oh, nice! I've seen that pig barbarian. He's very cool. We were just talking about War Machine not that long ago. Well, specifically, we were talking about something else called. I'm drawing a blank now. And no man says it's called bacon. Yeah. Delicious, delicious bacon. But I think this is bacon that can eat you. Okay, Scotsifer, that's what it was called. And so let it go backtrack a little bit. Painty Paint says, yeah, super cutie. Yeah, I know, right? Very cool model. And then Vice says the game that started the combo was of oil and iron by Scotsifer. Yeah, that was it. And then Painty says bacon is in fact delicious, yes. All food groups benefit from bacon. Though I say that, but I've had chocolate-covered bacon, and it was not very good. Very disappointed. It detracted from both flavors. And no man says, wait, what? I'm not edible. I'm full of nicotine and wine. Haha. I don't know what nicotine is, but it doesn't sound good. And are you saying you're bacon? And then Vice says, I hate how good bacon brittle tastes. I don't think I've had that. Is that like peanut brittle? I've had that. That's delicious. And Painty says that would be very hit or miss. And then no Madman says nicotine like cigarettes. Okay, I think you mean nicotine then. And then Vice says, yep, peanut brittle with bacon in it. Okay, I kind of want to have to try that. And then someone else says, sorry, I got distracted by my DIY wedding decorations project. Did you see my message about how good the mini is looking? No, I don't think I saw it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm liking how it's looking so far. I'm hoping to finish all this gold before we are done. Got about 7 minutes, so hopefully I can do it. I hope the DIY project's going well. No matter, man. Since I just smoke them, I don't have to call out their name. Okay. But yeah, how goes the wedding decorations project? There, 70 rows? No matter, man says I don't spell all that well in any language, and English is my second. What's your first? Spanish is my first. Or like we call it in the 41st night in Mudejar. No matter, man says Danish. Okay, unfortunately I don't speak Danish. But being bilingual is always a great thing. And then no matter, man says still trying to learn Spanish. I mean, it's a pretty good language to learn. I think it's like a whole continent full of Spanish speakers. Plus, some of the great music is all in Spanish.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Yes, no one. Nadie lo sospecha. Or I guess the whole thing would be nadie sospecha la Inquisición Española. Sammy Rose says, it's a little messy, Lo, but at least one of my best is helping with it. Oh, nice. And then Sunny Rose then says, you keep missing our messages. Yeah, sorry. And no matter, man, there was a couple messages I missed there of his too. It says, yeah, I love the sound of it. I'm just useless at languages. Got Emperor Man says, well, I did, but I am the Emperor. That is true. Just the Inquisition, whether English or Spanish or Gothic or Mudéjar, works for you. Painty Paint says, be safe. I need to get some post-stream noms. I'm hungry. Well, hey, you take care, okay? I'm actually going to be ending the stream pretty soon. Just trying to finish this last bit of goal right here. But it's nice having you. You take care. And buen provecho. Means bon appetit in Spanish. And then no Manaman says PPP feed, the little FB, 4x4 as well. Not sure what any of that meant. Oh, okay, gotcha. Now I know what you mean. Yeah. And then no Manaman says his cat. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he has an adorable cat. Okay, and with that, we are done for today. Again, more base colors, but we at least got knocked out all that brown, all that bronze, and the gold. Next week, we'll start working on the silver and metallic parts. And we might finally start working on some more detailing work aside from the white. But yeah, let's see who we can raid today. But again, before we go, I like and if you just before I go, if you like what I do and would like to support, please consider subscribing to my Twitch channel or donating to my Ko-Fi at Recital US Art. Or if you missed an episode, feel free to check out my YouTube channel, which is also called Recital US Art. And in my YouTube channel, you can see my Rosario rants, which are my little opinion think pieces. My recent video was about whether or not prequels are inherently bad. And I'm working on another one right now. I still have a little bit more editing to do, but we're getting close to the end. And that'll be ready for next month. And Vod says, good progress. Thanks again for the stream. No, thank you for coming. Hey, all you wallets, thank you very much for coming to all my streams. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and spend time with me and paint some minis. Yeah, let's see who we can spread the love with. All right, let's end. Yeah, Ron Illustrate or Ron Illust. So pretty much, it's Ron Illust. Yeah, he's about to start. So yeah, it's probably a good time to check out his stuff. He is a illustrating an illustrator pretty much. So it should be fun to check out his work. Let's go ahead and start the raid. Oh, and Thaddeus says that thanks for the stream. Hey, thank you very much for coming, Thaddeus. All right, so we should be heading over there pretty soon. So yeah, I've been Rosario Diaz, and I'm signing off from the Green Dark Future. Bye-bye, varlets.
Word. Can I come in?
Sure, yeah, come on.
Okay.
Don't worry.